Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Not sure when you're watching this, but if you do see me, good looking dude, if you do see me, that means you're in my Bio 31 Human Anatomy class, 4 units. My name is Dr. Knudsen, and I'm going to move to the side here, and you're going to see some stuff that's written on the board. You ready? Here we go. This says Dr. Knudsen. That does say Bio 31. Human Anatomy, 4 units. It meets on Monday, Wednesday. There's 2 classes. Tuesday, Thursday, 2 classes. And Friday, 1 class. Now, I'll get to all that. But if you go to the module, if you go on Canvas, I'm going to walk you through this. When you punch in Delta College, my Delta College, or whatever, it tells you the classes that you're enrolled in. And on the left-hand side, there'll be whatever classes you're enrolled in, and they probably have little squares or something. And those squares are called tiles. And those tiles will have a name at the bottom. This one should say BIO 31 F25. Yes, that's this, and that's how you got here. All right. Click on that. And from there, you're going to be taken to the Canvas. And I have everything broken down into weeks. So there's 15 entries. So week one, not week one, the very beginning module says essential information. That's where we're at today. I want you to go watch all of this because it explains the whole semester, explains grading policy, explains quizzes and tests, and do you have to be here, you not have to be here, all those things. But I'm going to go over them right now. Okay, but go through the essential information and you'll see those in order. And if they have a little paper clip, that means it's something you can download. And I'm going to show you those things that you can download. You can download them right off. You can download them right off your computer in this module. You can get them handed out to you in lab. That's 2. And the third way is, just a minute, I know the answer to this. Oh, yeah, on the very left side, when you're in Canvas, there's some shortcuts. One will say syllabus, one will say root words or something like that. You can download it that way. Do you understand? The advantage to downloading it at your off the computer is that important dates, you'll see, for an example, I call this the syllabus. I'll get there in a minute. But you see how this is grayscaled? Yours will appear in yellow. And that's because I thought, hey, these are kind of important. I want them to stand out. Okay, everything in here is important. Okay, but those are really, really important. So I did it in bold print, told what the thing was, and then yours will be in yellow. If I hand this to you, it's going to be grayscale just like this. Do you understand? Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you, and you've already done this, so you wouldn't be watching this, is click under essential information, drop down to where it says, please watch, and it's a video. That's this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the student information sheet. So what I would suggest you doing is drop down to where it says student information sheet and download it and go with me through this, because this is all the things that we're going to be doing in the class. Not the subject matter, but, is it transferable? How many units? This is what I need for the ADN program. Can I, how does your grading policy? What percent gets me an A and all that stuff? It's in here. And we're going to go over it right now. You ready? Okay. It says biology 31, human anatomy 4 units. That's semester units. It's transferable to where. So if you go here, you go to Harvard, you still get 4 units. Good. It's got my name. It's got my email address. Okay. Don't send me stuff like it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey, what you doing? I'll hunt you down. Okay. Next one, my office phone number. Don't call it because I never listened to it. Why? Because it doesn't work right. My office, Science and Math 126, right across from the lab. Office hours, TBA. I'll be available in the lab. Okay, what that means is I'm here at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 days a week. You can meet me in my office or in here in 126. That's what that means, TBA. If those hours don't work for you, 6 to 7, then get a hold of me and we'll make up another one, TBA. Got it? Okay. Best thing to do is approach me in lab. I'm here every single day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 6 until 11, Tuesday, Thursday from 6. Watch this one, 6 to 5 in the evening. Yeah, I'm too old for this stuff. All right. Course codes. So when on your My Delta, and you'll see that you had these codes. Lecture, everybody has the same one. Okay. So this one is 70042. The labs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the 5 labs I'm talking about. So depending on which one you signed up for, those are your lab numbers. They meet Monday, Wednesday from 7 to 9, Monday, Wednesday from 9 to 11, Tuesday, Thursday from 1 to 3, Tuesday, Thursday from 3 to 5, and Friday, one section, 4 hours. Just a minute. Go backwards, Jack. 7 to 11. Got it? You can't trade. You think, oh, I got into the class, but you know what? Coming at 7:30, 7 o'clock really helps me out. I'm sorry, the class is full. Okay? If you were lucky enough to get into this class, you know what I mean. It is, you're fighting tooth and nail to get in here. Once you get in here, I'm full. I can't accommodate anybody else. So you can't sit in the back. For example, I've got 28 microscopes, 28 students in the lab. What are you going to do? Beat them up so you can take their take their microscope? So I've got a signed number, and you got to do that. Later on in the semester, if a few people drop out, I can give you extra time. I can't change it. I can give you extra time. So if you're in a section that doesn't work because something's come up, drop the class. That's your only shot. Okay. I'm sorry, but we ain't going to sugarcoat anything. All right. And it says the lecture Monday through Sunday online, just like you're doing right now. Now, here's where most people get it jacked up. When you're doing a lecture online, don't just sit there and have it going in the background while you're washing dishes or watching TV. It's doing you absolutely no good. You sit down there and look at this mug talking to you, and you take notes. When I'm talking too fast, pause it, go back, and take your notes. Your notes are what's going to make you or break you. If you don't take any notes, or your notes are incorrect or they're incomplete, that's what your scores are going to be like. Okay? Because I take the questions that I develop for the exam come right off your notes, which means the things that we talk about. Got it? A lot of people, when it's online, they don't use it properly. It's just like the advantage to being online is you can do it 12 in the morning to 12 at night. So you have 24 hours. Did that come out right? Yeah, that came out right. You have 24 hours to take care of business. That means if you're working graveyard, when you have a break, you can listen to it, or you can watch it early in the morning or at noon or whatever it may be. That's the only advantage. Disadvantage, you're not here to ask questions. Okay? And I can't read my audience and say, oh, they're not getting that. I'll say it another way. Are we clear? Okay. So catalog statement, you can read that, but right here is important for any class here at Delta College. When you see UC, CSU, that means it has been articulated. What that means is we sat down with all the colleges in the United States and we said, we are teaching human anatomy. Here's the textbook we use. Here's the lab book we use. Here's the labs we do. Here's our grading policy. This is what we cover. And they review it and they say, hey, that's the same stuff we use. It'd be so if they sat in your class or sat in our class at Harvard, they would get the same information. They'd be accountable for the same information in testing and so on and so forth. You always want to watch that. You don't see CSU, UC, question the instructor and say, hey, is this transferable? Because if it isn't transferable, it works for your transcripts here to get your AA or AS. But when you go someplace else, you got to retake it because they didn't recognize it. Anyway, this one does. Got it? Prereqs, none. Okay. that's a double-edged sword. That means you come in off the street, you get out of high school, you've been working in the public sector, and you come in, you want to do something else, and you're going, hey man, I don't have to take anything else. I can go right in this class and get my A. You can come right in this class, and I hope you get an A. But you got to have certain strengths. You have to be able to read for comprehension. You have to be able to listen. You have to be able to transcribe those things into your thoughts into notes. Got it? Okay. If you have a problem with that in basic math, if you have a problem with that, take another class to strengthen those so you come in on a level playing field. You're always working from behind the door. Are we clear? Okay. Prereq. Text. This mandatory Human Anatomy by McKinley, 6th edition. People get it online. Okay. And it's like, I don't know. I think over in the bookstore it's like $108, but it comes as a bundle. What that means is inside is the publisher's Connect, which you absolutely have to have. You say, well, I can get it online for $40. Knock yourself out, do it. That's smart. But then you got to have to buy the code for Connect because it's essential for the class. Quizzes come out for that. Okay. And you're saying, okay, I'll just do that. So you go to the publisher, you buy the code, which is $80. Now you're $20 more than it would have cost you if you got both of them from the bookstore. There's also a rental program. Check with them. I'm not sure if they offer the code with it, but if they do, check those things out. Otherwise, use our bookstore. I had to fight to get the price down to where the publisher was bitching. Okay. They weren't making their profit. And I said, well, you have that choice or I'll go to a different publisher. Okay. So anyway, that's what it was. Are we with me? Okay. So that takes care of the lecture exam. Lecture book, lab book, basic anatomy. Basic isn't on here. Oh, yeah, it is. Basic Anatomy by Allen. It's a blue book that I've been using for a long time. It's when we study the bones. You can use it, take it home, great. Otherwise, we'll talk about it when it comes there. That's going to be the middle of the semester. Okay. So don't worry about it now. And the last one suggested photographic atlas of histology. The very first thing we're going to be doing here is looking through a microscope and identifying tissues. You don't have to have that because we have internet, we have Wi-Fi in the classroom, and you can look at it that way. I'll have posters put up of the things you're supposed to see. I will also show you behind me, I'll have a screen down there and show you what you're supposed to look at. But if you'd like one, get that off half.com or Amazon. You can usually pick it up pretty cheap. And that way it has, if we're looking at simple columnar epithelium that you find in your intestine, they'll have 10 slides of it in different colors, different magnifications, where online you might get one. And you don't know if that's what you're supposed to see. Got it? So yes, no on that one. Okay, turn a page. Required equipment and supplies. You're going to need a binder for your notes. I suggest you use a spiral binder, and you get the ones with like 100 or 200 sheets in it. I wouldn't get the ones with the dividers. I just get the single one. That means when you hold on to that, anything that you have done in this class is in there and you know it. I don't like the 3, taking a hole punch and punching or whatever, because you turn the pages a couple times, they tear out, you lose them. Your call, but I'd use a spiral notebook. Okay. And that's what it talks about. The handouts. Now you're going to need a 3-ring binder. I get the 1-inch. It's the cheapest one. Okay. You get it Office Depot or Office Max if that's still open, I might get it Dollar General. I don't know. But the 1-inch, they make so many of them, the price is lower than the 1/2-inch. All your labs will go into that. So when you're done with the lab, you'll put it in that notebook. Anything I hand you is hole punched. Got it? And you can put that in the notebook. Here's what I'm trying to say. When you sit down to study, which we call prepare, you grab your spiral notebook, you grab your binder, and you have everything that you have done or should have done in this course. Are we good? cuts down on time so you can get to where you're going. Got it? Okay. Next thing, general information. I'm going to read this to you. It says the lecture portion of this course meets twice a week for 1 hour and 30 minutes. You say, well, wait a minute. You just said it was online. I'm just trying to keep you organized, Jacko. Okay. It says in parentheses, although online and asynchronous. Asynchronous means you can take it at any time. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden I appear at 1 o'clock and you've got to be there or you miss it. That's called synchronous. This is asynchronous, which means I've recorded these. It's me. I'm doing it. You're listening to my voice, et cetera, et cetera. Are we good? Continuing. Lab will meet 2 hours twice per week at the times you are enrolled per your MyDelta. We talked about this in the beginning. You can't just come in anytime. You can't be late. I'll lock the damn door, okay? Because you're not going to disturb other people because you couldn't get out of bed or they were taking too long at Starbucks filling your order. Got it? So you're here on time or early. Get yourself ready to go because I look at the clock and when it is exactly time, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, okay, 1 o'clock, I start. Boom, right then. You walk in, hey man, what's he doing? You're not disturbing others because of you not being prepared. Are we dialed in? Okay. So you got to be here. Okay. It says Fridays meet once per week for 4 hours. So Friday sections are only here once a week. You're thinking, hey, that's pretty good. Yeah, but if you miss one, you miss 2 lectures, 4 hours. That's a whole week. Okay. So you want to be careful with that one. But for those of you that have full-time jobs or you've got problems with child care or whatever's on your plate, it's an option. Okay. The lecture will be online, which allows you to listen and record lectures. Please revisit, but make sure you take excellent notes and then ask questions during labs. You know, you're taking notes and you're going, man, what the hell does that mean? Number one, in your textbook. Bingo. Okay. If that doesn't work, Google it. If you're still kind of not sure when you come into lab, I'll handle it for you. Got it? Okay. It says if lighting, hearing, or other disabilities present themselves, and it's not disabilities, it's challenges. Okay. I picked the wrong word. Okay. If lighting, hearing, or other challenges present themselves, please let me know right away so they can be addressed. You might have vision problems. You might have hearing problems. You might have, your back hurts or whatever it means. I will accommodate you or I'll direct you to where you can go to be accommodated. We want you to learn anatomy, period. Are we good? Okay. It says this is a somewhat modified for online instruction. Since I cannot see you, this is a lecture. If I cannot see you, when you are listening to the lecture, take notes. Write any questions you have in the margin of your notebook. After listening to the lecture, look up your question in the text. Ask during tutoring. I'll talk about that. Ask during SI. I'll talk about that. Or send Elena, Alyssa, or myself an email, and we'll answer it. Okay? Additionally, I'll be available in lab daily. That's the best thing. I run a very organized ship, but I make sure that I'm here, and when everybody's doing their lab thing, just come up and ask me questions. You'll see people lined up here, people that are taking physiology that had me for anatomy come in and ask me questions. Okay. And that's fine. That's what I'm here for. That's my job. Okay. Okay. Continuing. Science and Math Department has instituted a tutoring center in Science and Math 162. And that's on the west end of campus, on the west end of our building. Okay. I, as well as other instructors and former students, will be there available to assist you in understanding the material outside of class. This is changed to a combination of online and in-person tutoring. Okay, you go down there, you say, man, I'm having problems with Newton. We're doing the metric system. I got no goddamn clue what he's doing. There's somebody there that'll help you. Okay. But, and I'm just going to tell you this offhand, but you can read it. In 2008, I know you don't look that old, 2008, they had a pilot program here for 3 years and it was called SI, or supplemental instruction. I call it a student instructor. We started it with my class. I took it on to see if that would help students understand the material, because it's a little difficult, okay, especially if you don't have science background. It worked. So then I gave a proposal, and they put part of the general fund to pay for the students that are doing that. And I always select outstanding students, not just grade wise, but can they relate their knowledge to you? Right now, for the last 3 years, I've had a young lady. Her name is Elena. And Elena has been with me, like I said, for 3 years. She's in the nursing program starting her second year or second semester. Okay. She is fantastic. Almost said a bad word. She is fantastic. I also have Alyssa as my tutor, and Alyssa is fantastic. They're buds. They're in the same program. They went through my class. Elena had the highest grade, that isn't why I picked her, sort of. But she is real good at disseminating the information, real good. And Elena is good at answering that computer 24/7. Got it? I will introduce you to them in lab. May not be on the first day, but you'll see them. And Elena does SI on Zoom, and she does SI in person. I have a room available. So come in and see her, and it's more relaxed. She'll tell you ways of getting a good understanding the material and performing well on the exams. That's called SI. I call it student instructor, but it's supplemental instruction. Okay. That thing works good. The tutoring center over on 162 is okay, but the SI and Alyssa for tutoring know me. They know what's important. They know how to cut through the stuff and get right to the meat of the course. Okay. All right. We'll explain more about that on the first day. I said in the last paragraph under general information is lastly, 2 names you'll become familiar with, Elena and Alyssa. They are my TAs, with Elena leading the SI sessions and tutoring. Alyssa will answer your questions and do all the grading. We work together for you to get the most out of the course, and that is absolutely true. I also have other students to come in that have been helped and got through, and they come in to say, hey, you need any help? And I introduce them to you, and you can raise your hand and say, hey, can you help me? And they are glad to do it. At the bottom, course description. You can read that later. Goes on. Here's where I'm at. You can read that stuff later. Not important. It's important, but it's not essential to what we're talking about right now. Attendance. For the first 2 weeks of class, you are required to be present at the scheduled times. If you are not, I am required to drop you from the course. I have to. And it's done through a computer. I don't know. Some of you have asked me, hey, can you get me in the class? They won't let me touch it. They won't. They track me because, there's students I've had prior. Maybe I've had their parents. And I want them to get in the course. Okay. Or for some reason, doesn't matter. Well, they've plugged that hole. They don't let us touch it, and they track it. So if you do something sneaky or you find a way around their, God's way, they call us in. I got called in 2 semesters ago. Okay. And I didn't do it on purpose. I made a mistake. And instead of adding the first one that was number 1 on the list, I added number 2 because I didn't see number 1. I don't know why. Doesn't matter. I got called in. I got spanked. Okay. So you got to be here, period, at your assigned time. Okay. This will allow room for someone more serious about learning. After a period of time, it is incumbent upon you to gather as much information about the subject material as possible. After those 2 weeks, if you're not here, you're not here. I don't call roll. So you're going to say, hey, what did I miss? Nothing. We just sat out in the parking lot, had pizza and beer. You know what's on there because it's on the syllabus. Okay. So you've got to collect that information. I'm not going to lecture twice. Okay. In all my years, I have not found a way of achieving this other than being present in the class for the entire time. As stated before, lab participation is mandatory. If you think you can copy your lab partner's information without getting caught, try it. You'll run the risk of failing along with them. And I'm serious about this stuff. Lecture. You are urged but not required to take notes. I will use the material covered in lecture as the primary source. Okay. We talked about that. The way I have the modules set up, after it does essential information, it'll say study resources. That's number 2. Number 3 is week 1. And it'll say August 18th or August 19th. And it'll tell you what we're going to be doing that week. At the end of that week, and I have up in the very beginning, week 1, August 15, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, that's what's up there. You'll see it. And all that stuff, I expect you to get done. If you don't get it done, you're starting to dig yourself a hole that you might not be able to crawl out of. Okay, so anyway, everything's spelled out there. All right, turn the page. I'm here where I'm at. Lab, 2 forms. I've designed 2 types of labs for this course. One I call cookbook. And the very first lab you're going to be doing is the metric system, where I ask you to measure something, put the answer right here. Measure something else, put it right here. Multiply those 2 together and get surface area. It's cookbook. When you're done, you're done. You usually get it done in 1 lab setting. The other type, of which I have 3, the other type you will do, let me get my thoughts together. It's an open-ended lab, which means you come in today, you do some, don't finish it. You go the next lab period, you work on it, you don't finish it. You go to the next lab period, you're starting to get close. You go to the next lab period and you complete it. The next lab period, you connect everything, and then we go to something else. There are 3 of those. One is on the microscope, identifying tissues. One is on the skeleton, identifying the parts on the bones, which are called bone markings. And the third one is muscles. I'll explain that as the semester goes on, but those are your 2 labs. Cookbook, open-ended. Okay? Okay. You only turn in your labs on the day of the lab exam. So whatever we have accumulated, there's 3 exams. So let's go 1, 2, 3. The first third, any labs that you have done go in the binder. You turn them in on the day of the lab exam. Alyssa grades them. You get them back. You have a grades. It shows up on your Canvas score. Okay. Second one, from that point to the next point, which is 2/3 through the semester, you're doing another one. All those labs you collect, you do them, you turn them in on the day of lab exam number 2, etc. Do you see how it goes? You don't say, hey, I'm done with it here. I don't want it. You turn them in at one time. Otherwise, things are so scattered. You with me? Okay. You'll see. I'm going to turn this for you. You see way over in the corner, underneath where it says that has a little flag, Delta College. Do you see it in black writing? It does say August 15th. That's a pacing guide. Okay. Right there. That's a pacing guide. I have that set up for every lab period. So when you come in on Monday, it tells you what we're going to be accomplishing. When you come in on Tuesday, it tells you what you're going to be accomplishing. Wednesday, that'll be erased and there'll be some new stuff up there. Okay. I call it a pacing guide. If you're ahead, if you're behind, got it? Okay. Okay. Quizzes. There are 2 types of quizzes here, and none of them deal with the material in the book. One is an online quiz. Dang it. Hang on. I forgot to get it. I'll be right back. I'm right back. I had it sitting behind me. One is an online quiz. That's what you need the code for from your textbook. It's called McKinley Connect. Some of you have used that in other courses. Okay. You're going to be going chapter by chapter and completing those. You see where it says Bio 31, Bio 33? You're over here, Bio 31. And it tells you chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, 5, 9, 6, 12. I jump around after we get going. It tells you when it's due. 8/25, 8/26, 9/7. You get it? This is online. You can download it out of Essential Information, or I will hand you one of these on the first day of the class. I would make sure I had two copies. One I'd put it in on my forehead, and the other one I'd put next to my computer. I have students every now and then go, "Oh man, I forgot." I'm going, "Oh, that's too bad. Can you open it back up for me?" No. Okay. You can do these. They all open on the first day. So if you're on Monday, Wednesday, they open up on the 18th. Your Tuesday, Thursday, they open up on the 19th. And if you're Friday, they open up on the 15th. And they open for the entire semester. But they close on these dates. Got it? So if I don't know how you're ever going to have this happen, but if you have nothing to do, make sure you knock out one of these. They're worth 10 points apiece. There's 19 of them. Let's do some math. 10 times 19. Yeah, 190 points. Okay. And what you do is you read the material, you take the quiz, and if you take the quiz, you can go through as many of those as you want. In other words, as many attempts as you want. You can stop halfway through, go do something else, come back, and it'll pick up right where you left off. And once you get to efficiency, and I have it dialed in how efficient I want you to be, it says, okay, you're done. You got all the questions you need. You're efficient in sort of efficient in that topic. Okay. And then you get your 10 points and you move on. Don't forget these. If you forget one, you're out of luck. You lose those 10 points, period. Do you understand? I also have them for BIOL 33, but you're not concerned with that. Got it? McKinley online quizzes. That's quiz type number 1. Quiz type number 2 is prefix suffix. I'll hand you this. This is in your essential information. You can download it. It's also, I'll hand it to you in lab. I'm going to teach you Latin. Okay. So every other week on a Friday, Wednesday or a Thursday, I'm going to be giving you these. Got it? I'll explain it in lab because try and do it here. You're just going to get yourself confused. But there's your 2 types of quizzes. Are we dialed in? Okay. Exams. Down at the bottom. Exams. I give 3. The third one being the final. There is no makeups. Oh, I overslept. Oh man, that sucks because they're 100 points. Well, can I take it at another time? No. Why? I'm not ready. Oh, that's too bad. Okay. I really feel for you, but everybody else was ready. So the deal is you're ready to take it on the day. You're saying, I got in a car wreck. Oh, really? Are you okay? I really don't care. No, I do. You say, I got in a car wreck. Really? Yeah. Okay. Get here. What do you mean I got in a car wreck? I said, the wreck's over, man. Get here and take the exam. Do you understand? Okay. Now that we have that out of the way, you're here to take the exams on the certain day. And I'm going to show you that in the syllabus. Okay. Period. It's in concrete. All right. So that's the exams. Now, there are some valid reasons. Okay. I had one student had to have ovarian surgery. And I said, don't worry, I'll cover you. Okay. She showed up anyway with a drip line. She's a nurse now. One of these days, I'll tell you her name. But anyway, she showed up and I told her, I said, don't worry about it. She had it taken out on a Saturday and she was in class taking a lab exam on Monday. It was embarrassing for me. Okay. But she got the second highest grade. Anyway, so Yulissa, I'm talking about you. Don't worry about that. If there is something valid, your grandmother can die once. If there is something valid, you say, you get a hold of me ahead of time. If it's behind after it happened, no. But if you know ahead of time, hey, my grandmother died. She lives in Iowa. I got to fly there and get there. I got to go get there. Okay. Well, when's the funeral? Well, it's on Monday. I said, well, okay, when are you coming back? Well, we're flying out Monday night. Okay, I'll see you Tuesday morning at 7:00. And you're going, yeah, you're not going to wait a week. You're not going to get extra time to study, period. Playing field's level. I'm real stickler about that. Got it? So exams, lab exams, be here on time, ready to go at the time prescribed in the syllabus. Extra credit. This is funny. Okay, extra credit. There is none. And I have people at the end of the semester going, oh, I'm 2% away from getting a B. Oh, that's too bad. Is there anything I can do? Yeah, next time study harder. Well, they think I don't care. I said, it's too late, man. Was there anything I could do for extra credit? Remember this one? None. No extra credit. Playing field's level. You're going to be caring for people. One of you are going to be caring for people's lives. Oh, shoot, man. I shot the IV in the artery, not the vein. Can I have an extra credit? No. Okay. Late assignments. There is none because everything in the syllabus is down to the day, down to the hour. I've got this worked out pretty good. Your grade. You see, I give I give pluses and minuses in solid grades, and it's a straight percentage. You say, well, I got an A on the first exam and I got a B on the second exam, but it shows I only have a B. I said, yeah. What was your percent? Well, I got an A on one and a B on the other. I should have at least an A minus. Okay, let's look at your percentage. You had a 90% on one and an 80% on the other. That comes out to a solid B, 85%, Jack. You see what I mean? So it's all percent. Anyway, and then I got a roundabout point breakdown. This is what you're being graded on. The midterms, the final, lab exams, lab exercises, online connect, prefix suffix. Crystal clear? It is to me. Okay, then it says, as you can see, every point is valuable. Suggestions. Okay, you're going to go, okay, I'll do whatever it takes to get an A in the class. Really? Okay, I will help you. Number one, take good notes. Number two, be in class. Number three, be ready with the material ahead of time. Don't play catch up. That'll kill you. Okay. Before, take good notes. Your notes is the blood going through your arteries. Got it? And if you take good notes, then all you got to do is memorize them. And I have examples of students that have done very well in my class, and they've let me have their notebooks. I'll have those up here on the front, right? In fact, right behind me. And they'll be up there for the whole semester. So you can see how they took notes. Got it? Okay. So whatever it takes, do it. And instead of studying, say prepared. Have I studied enough? Sure, I don't know. You know, person A studies 10 hours. Person B studies 20 hours. Are they both going to get an A? No. Do they know the material? That's the point. Are they prepared for anything I can throw at them? The answer is yes. Then, boy, it doesn't matter how long you studied. Okay. I was a slow learner. I had to study. Oh, you have no idea. Hours and hours and hours, where my lab partner could probably study for 10 hours. He gets an A and I get an A. But I got an A. Okay. And then as time went on, I learned tricks, become more efficient. And I'll teach you those. Okay. Okay. Remember, the only dumb questions are the ones that aren't asked. And that is, I am absolutely rigid on that. I don't care what question you ask me. If it's, hey, is it rated outside? And you see people coming in with an umbrella, I'll say, yep, but it's supposed to be clearer later. I answer your question. And that's what I'm supposed to be for. Got it? So I don't care what the question is. And I've had a female one time ask me, where do babies develop? And she had 2 kids. Okay. Now everybody's kind of rolling their eyes. I said, hey, wait a minute. I said, the reason for that question is because when you have your second child, you say, hey, listen to mommy's tummy. Do you feel your little brother kicking or your little sister kicking? So what's the kid think? Tummy. That's where my sandwich goes. They don't know about a uterus. And people that your family may not know about uterus. You never had the information. You're going to learn it here. And I'll answer that question and make you feel good about it. Promise. Okay? Okay. Very bottom thing. We'll adhere to the student handbook of conduct. It's online. It's also with our division office. It's also through administration, and the counseling office has it. If you can't get any of those to get it for you, I'll get it for you. But it tells you what you can and cannot do in the classroom. For example, can you show up drunk? No. In fact, I'll have you arrested. Okay. Can you show up with your kids in tow? No, it's in the handbook. Okay. Can I show up with no shirt on and tennis and flaps? No. Okay. So there's things that apply to me, things that apply to you. Bottom line is, if you have a question or you think that I'm being a stickler about something, bring it to my attention. I don't hold grudges. I promise you. Never have my whole life. So if you're thinking, hey, I don't like the way you talk about cows. I said, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, I live on a dairy and I love cows. I said, oh, good. I love cows too. I like the milk and I like the food, the meat. But I'm sorry if that bothers you. Hey, I'll fix it. Okay. Do you understand? So that's all in the handbook. All right. We're going to turn the page. I'm sure getting a lot of darn messages here. All right. Additional resources. Okay. You know that you have me. You know you have your lab partner. The labs interface with the lecture. In addition, SI. I cannot tell you how important SI is. You'll learn that. And if you look from other people who have taken the class, they said, man, don't miss an SI session. Those will help you out tremendously. And I'm telling you, they will. Okay. But I also have some other things. Google Docs, a lot of stuff's on Google Docs, Quizlet, Photo Bucket. Okay. Which brings us to the next thing, cheating. Okay. I have to tell you about this and I have to be very, very clear. Can you cheat? That should be an obvious answer. Okay. No. Okay. Well, what if I get caught cheating? I will fail you and I will try and get you removed from the college. I'm serious about this stuff. Okay. People have tried it over the years. Okay. They've tried it and I remove them. And then I write up a write-up. I get anybody in the class that saw it to supplement that. And I send it over to the counseling office and over to the administration. I try and get them removed from college. And it shows up on their transcripts. So just do your own work. Don't worry about it. If you copy a lab, okay, that's hold on. Plagiarism. Okay, copying somebody else's writing. Same results. People say, well, those are my words. I say, it's kind of funny. It's word for word, exactly the way your lab partner did it. Okay. Or the way I found it in Google Docs. You know, the AI, you think, well, I'll just have to run everything through AI because it looks really good. And you're right, it does. But I could push a key and it tells it where it came from in AI. Okay. And I do it. Okay. So don't do that. Just do your own words. Ask you a question. Is it raining outside? Yep, it's raining. It's raining really hard. And people are wearing umbrellas, and that's what you write for your answer. Okay. Oh gosh. So you can't cheat. Hey, if you can cheat and you're in a relationship right now, just go home to your significant other and say, hey, I want to tell you right now, I just cheated. And think if they said, oh, well, that's okay. I'm glad you told me. And things go on the same. No, they'll cut you. Okay. So same thing here. Now, there's two cheating policies. One, college-wise. The other one is in the class, and they're match. You don't cheat. We good? Okay, DSPS. This is for students that have some form of documented disability. Vision, auditory, speaking, writing, whatever it may be. I've had people in here take the class and they're in a wheelchair. Okay, I will accommodate you. I will send you over there. They document it. They let me know what accommodations that you need, and we take care of it because we're here to learn anatomy. And I don't care if you like walking around on your hands upside down. If that's what you like to do, knock yourself out. But I'm going to teach you anatomy, period. We're not here to discuss politics. I don't care if you love Trump, hate Trump, whatever it may be. You like world wrestling. It doesn't matter. We're learning anatomy in here. That's it. Are we good? Okay. Turn the page. It says student SLOAs. That stands for student learning outcomes assessments. I take care of that. I just want you to know that I evaluate the information every single semester. We compare it with other instructors that teach anatomy. And when we're all done, we accumulate this information to see what best way can our students learn? Okay. Student learning outcomes. Okay. There we go. Now, I want to do a couple more things. This is in your essential information called important dates. So what we did is we put, and it says Friday, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. And it tells you what days are super important and why. Okay. And I have holidays, last day to drop with a W, last day to drop without a W, and exams. Got it? You have that. Okay. I'm going through these. Prefix suffixes I showed you, those are quizzes. Connect. You need that code you get from the bookstore in a bundle. Okay, or you can buy it from the company. Okay, the publisher. Okay, and those dates are the closing dates, not the opening dates. The opening dates are from day one. Got it? Okay, you'll have that one. Now, next. This is absolutely probably the most important thing you'll ever have. You have not ever have what you have for the course. This is what I call the syllabus. The one we just went through is student information sheet. This is the syllabus. Now, a lot of instructors put the syllabus and these dates together and call it a syllabus. I separate them because this is the one that you'll have on your wall at your house next to your computer. If you get the 1-inch binder you're putting your labs in, and there's a slip on the outside, you can put this in so you can see, just pick it up, look and see what we're doing that day. Okay. And it has 3 columns: date, what you're doing in lecture, what you're doing in lab. Okay. And this one is the 18th. That's Monday, Wednesday. See where I put MW? Okay. And it says first day. What are we doing? Introduction to the course, the syllabus, publisher, and P stands for PowerPoint. Okay. A lot of that information is on PowerPoint. Hello. Okay. In lab, what are we doing? I'm doing role, expectations, course information sheet. Okay. So I do course information sheet right now, which I just went through, and I'll talk a little bit about it in lab. Okay. What are we doing on, this is Wednesday. This is Monday. Here's Wednesday. What are we doing? Metric system, scientific notation. This is in lecture. Metric system, scientific notation, introduction to anatomy, D and P. D stands for directed teaching. That means I'm behind me on the board writing things down in your lecture. P is a PowerPoint. In a PowerPoint, I'm up here in the corner, and you'll see the slides that I'm doing, and I'm talking about them up here. Got it? That's the difference. I think, personally, that directed teaching is the only way to fly, because you're seeing my handwriting, my crummy little drawings, okay? And we're explaining them, and they mean something to you instead of a professional drawing. I'll be good. But you get them both ways. Okay, what are we doing in lab? We're doing the metric system, okay? That's the lab, cookbook lab. We already talked about it. Okay, what are we doing the following Monday? This is lecture, introduction to anatomy, body cavities, positions, and movements, like flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, that kind of stuff. And it's a PowerPoint. What are we doing in lab? We're finishing up the metric system. We didn't quite get it done. And I'm introducing the microscope. Do you see how it goes? So this tells you everything we're doing. Okay, now you see a highlighted thing. This is September the 1st, holiday. Okay, drop without a W on that day. And it's a holiday. Got it? Got it? And then we go down and down and down and down. And then we look. Let me try and get my finger going the right way. On the 22nd, which is a Monday, what are we doing in lecture? Articulations, joints. It's part of its PowerPoint, part of its directed teaching. Okay? So what are we doing in lab? Oh, lecture exam, 100 questions, multiple choice. Okay? If you didn't study, it's multiple guess. What are we doing on Thursday, the 24th? Still doing articulations, finishing that up in lecture. Lab, have a lab exam. Multiple choice, 50 questions. Multiple choice. Do you see? And the whole semester is outlined for you, just like that. Okay. And I go through and I try and I think I got them all right, but I try and this will be in yellow if you download it on your computer, or if I hand it to you, it's grayscale. And you see it bold print. What's about October 13th? Well, it says October 13th is the last day to drop with a W. It means I have to give you a grade after that. What about on the 27th of October? Uh-oh, lecture exam number 2, 135 questions. What about on the 29th? Lab exam, lecture exam, 100 questions, lab exam, 135 questions. Okay. Do we see? And you can see where I have D's and P's all down here. So you know how the material's coming at you. Okay. I'm going to flip to the last page. What are we doing on December the 3rd? Your last lab exam, 135 questions. What are we doing on December the 8th? Final exam, 170 questions. Good. This guy is the one we're going by. And I also, remember down there? Just a minute, got to find it. I do that pacing guide, and that's the same. This is where I get the information for it. I'll be good. I have one of these for Monday, Wednesday. I have one of these for Friday. They have different dates. Still, the stuff's going to still be really close. The drop date's still the same. Drop with a W, out without a W. The exam days are different. Now on Friday, you get your lecture exam and your lab exam on the same day. Got it? Got it. You're saying, well, that sucks. Yeah, it does. But the thing is, you get them knocked out at the same time. It's the same material. Okay. Just one is on a lecture exam, written, you think, write down the answer. The other one's a lab. You go from station to station. Okay. And then Tuesday, Thursday. Okay. They're exactly the same as Monday, Wednesday, only the dates on this column are different. Okay. All right. Any questions? Email Elena. She's on Essential Information. It has her email address and a little profile of her. Alyssa, Essential Information, a little profile of her. And each one of them has their email address. And you have mine. Okay. We're going to have fun. Really. People love this class. Okay. Talk to you later.